Hi, I'm Miss Haley with the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library. And for today's craft, I'm going to be showing you how to make a giant star out of paper bags. You can do this with any number of paper bags. It kind of depends on the size, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But for this craft, you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need scissors, a hot glue gun, and some spare glue sticks. And then stuff to decorate your star with. So I have here some crayons. You can also use Sharpies. You can use glitter. Anything really that you want. And then you're going to need some paper sacks. So these are sort of the lunch size sacks. I know they're hard to see kind of on my brown background. They're the same color there. So these are just lunch sacks. You can buy them at most grocery stores in sort of the Ziploc bag, aluminum foil sort of aisle. And they're just paper lunch sacks. I imagine you could do this with the larger sacks that you can get for groceries, but I don't know how many you need. I've not done that before, so you'd have to experiment with this a little bit to figure that out. But I imagine that it would work the same way. It'd just be a different scale. But this is going to make a pretty big star, because we are going to, this is the radius of the star. So radius being half of a circle. So your star is going to be twice the size and width of one paper sack. So if you put two in the end, that's how big your star is going to be. So it's about 2 feet wide. So pretty big. You need at least 7 paper sacks. I have 8 here today because I remember the last time I did this with this particular set of sacks, I needed one more than I had. It kind of just depends on the brand. They all vary a little bit in size and shape. So it's going to vary for you. You need at least 7. You might need as many as 10. It just kind of depends. You'll know when you get to the end whether or not you can make a full circle. So we're going to glue them together in a stack, and then you're going to circle them around on themselves. And if you can't make it all the way, you know you need to add a couple more. So start with 7, but have some spares on hand. Fortunately, these usually are sold in a pack of at least 50, I think is the smallest amount I've ever seen these sold in. So you should have plenty on hand. To start, we are going to stack the paper bags so that they are all facing the same way. So I'm just going to make sure, they're all separated, because sometimes they're a little stuck together, and I'm going to make sure that they're all stacked. Yeah, like that. See, they're stuck together there. I'm going to make sure they're all stacked facing the same direction. Looks good. And then we're going to start gluing them together. So to do this, we're going to make a T of glue. So using our hot glue, we're going to make a T, and we are going to keep them stacked all the same way. So I'm going to take one bag, and I'm going to make a T. The top part of your T is a capital T. The top part of your T should be the top or the bottom of your bag. So the top part of our T is going to be down here at the base of the bag. I like to do them with the flap side up, so that it's just very clear to me which side is the bottom. So the bottom being the closed part of your bag. So if you're putting your T down here at the top of the bag where it opens, you're doing it wrong. So we're going to put the crossbar of our T right up here, and you have to move quick. And we're going to do all the way down to right here. We're going to stop short because there's a little gap right there. And then we're going to stack a bag on top of that and press it down. Just kind of make sure it's lined up so that it's stacked directly on top of that, and then just press it down. Okay? You've got to move fast because the glue will dry, and you're putting a lot of glue on here. So by the time you're down, you need to be ready to stack your bag on top of it. Otherwise, your glue will dry and you won't get a good seal. So we're going to just repeat this for our whole stack. So this is super easy. If you wanted to decorate them, you would do it in advance. I'm going to pause for a minute in my glue and show you how to do that. I'm not going to decorate mine today much because that could take a really long time. So I want you guys to kind of see how that works. So when this expands, the top, bottom, the sides of the bag are going to be covered. So they're glued together. You're not going to see them. So what you're going to see when you spread it apart, so when you take it from here and you spread it apart, you're going to see these inside flaps. So when you're decorating these, what you want to do is open it up and decorate in here. Okay, and you can kind of do that by folding it back. Try not to press and fold too much. You don't want to mess up the folds of your bag. We're relying on those folds to make this craft work. But you want to decorate right here. So don't worry about this side. Don't worry about this side. Open it up and decorate between. Okay? So we're going to keep stacking. Again, we're always making sure that we're stacking in the same direction. So I'm going to make sure that the next one I put on top of here, this flap is face up, and I'm not going to stack it that way. If you stack it that way, it's not the end of the world. It will still look okay, but it's not going to look the same. You're going to notice that that one section is a little different and a little off. So again, we're going to put our glue along the top and then a strip all the way down. And we're going to stack our bag on top. You want to try to line up your sides perfectly or as close as you can. Sometimes the bags, though, their folds will vary a little bit, so it's okay if it's a little bit off. You don't have to go for perfection here. We're just going to keep doing this for our whole stack of bags. And this is just super, super easy. It's such an easy craft. You could even use, if you didn't want to use hot glue or you didn't have hot glue, you could definitely use a glue stick for this. It would just take you a little longer because you would definitely have to wait for it to dry after you've stacked it. Otherwise, you'd wind up peeling them apart. Hot glue just dries itself a little bit quicker than that because it dries as it cools, which does not take very long at all. Stack. And again, another T. You'll need, let's see, I've gone through at least about 3 glue sticks. This is my 3rd one that I'm loading in now. Not quite ready. So make sure you have some extra glue sticks on hand. This does run through the glue sticks. It's a lot of hot glue. Stack. If you wind up with a little extra right here, do you see how right here I've got a little hot glue coming off? Wait until it's a little bit cool. You don't want to burn your finger, and then just wipe that away or pick it off. You don't want that to spread to your other bags because that could affect how it opens. So continuing with my stack. Hot glue gun is super squeaky today. I don't know if that is getting picked up in the video or not, but it's super duper squeaky. And I am, yep, last one. Okay. So we're doing our last one. Same way, always stacking the same direction. My arm is getting tired from squeezing this hot glue gun so much. And stack. You give that a second to dry. If you are using a regular glue stick, so not a hot glue gun, but like a regular Elmer's glue stick like this one, or even more so just like a bottle of glue, you could do it with that. you will want to make sure that you give it some time. So you'd still use the same T method. If you were using this, you do a stripe here and a stripe down. Or if you were using liquid glue, again, it's the same T method. Because we want these sides to be open. And if we glued all over our bag, these sides would not, they would just stick together. So they'd open like that. If you are using not hot glue, you're going to have to take a little break at this step. So you're going to want to leave it in your stack, go do something for 20 minutes or so, maybe even 15. It doesn't take that long for glue to dry, but you want to give that glue time to dry before you move on, because we're going to be cutting and we're going to be doing a little folding as we fold this side around to meet this side, which I'm not sure how well that's going to show up on this camera. I'm a very tight angle today. But that's okay. I'll lift it up and show you the finished product. But the next step you're going to do, assuming you're ready to move on, is you're going to cut a star, like a point here at the bottom. You don't want to cut really far down. You don't really want to cut much past here. So that's about a third of the bag. If you're curious, you can say this flap is a third of the bag, a third of the bag, a third of the bag, give or take a little bit. So you don't want to really cut down any further than that, but we're going to just cut it into a point. So we're going to start here at the center. Here's our center point, and we're going to cut this way. You can freehand that, or if you're not comfortable freehanding it, if you're worried that you're going to mess it up, take a crayon or a pin or whatever you're decorating with. Make a little bit of a mark at the center. That gives you your center point. Make a little mark over here on the side and over here on the side. That tells you how far you want to go. And then draw a line to it. And then just kind of see. I think I want mine a little pointier, so I am going to go a little further down, but no more than halfway down the bag. So you can draw on your point. And I'm doing kind of a curved point because I want it to look a little bit more like a flower than a star maybe. But I'm not any further than halfway. So the halfway point in this bag is probably right here. So I'm stopping just short of that. Okay? We are going to cut through this. You got to hold it really firmly. It's hard to cut through all these layers. Not going to want to do it. So, if you are cutting through a lot of layers of bag, so I only have 8 here, which was fairly hard to cut. And you can see my cut is not perfect. Like this one is a little deeper than these. That's fine. Just leave it like that. No one will really be able to tell when this thing is open. Unless it's just crazy off, in which case you can trim it. So if it was like out to here, maybe trim it a little. But so if you're having trouble cutting through this many layers, or if you have more layers than I do, what you're going to want to do, you can cut through, find a good spot to kind of break it up and cut through part. Like that. And then cut off the rest. So you can divide it up. You can just follow then that line that you made with the first one and cut through the rest. It's harder to cut on this side for some reason. Probably because I can't hold the bag as easily. Alright. Now I do have this weird little, like the top one is okay, but then I have this weird ledge. Do you guys see that? I'm going to trim that off because I do think that is going to look a little strange. So I'm going to even that up a little bit. But like I said, you don't have to be perfect. So now what we are going to do, I'm going to scoop my scraps out of the way. We are going to use the same T method. So turn it around again so that your bottom of your bags is up at the top and the open end of your bag is facing you. You're going to, again, do a T. So you're going to put a T of glue right here, the crossbar, and then down. And then you're going to bring this side open and around until you meet the other end. So you're going to glue them together. And I'll show you what that looks like in a big screen here in a minute. Let me get it actually done. So, I'm going to put a tea of glue right here, and you do have to work pretty fast. You don't want your hot glue drying on you. I'm going to come all the way down to the tip, and then I'm going to bring it around. I don't know how well you guys are going to see this on the camera, but I've got to move pretty fast. I'm going to glue them together. I'm going to reach in there with my hands, kind of press it together. And now my paperback star is open and in a star shape. And I'm going to lift the camera up because you are only seeing a point right now, and that's no fun. So that is what your finished product should look like if your giant paperback star. Now, if you have decorated your giant paperback star, you should be seeing colors, maybe some glitter, some fun stuff on that side, or you can leave it blank like mine. You can also do this with the white paper bags that you can get sometimes, like for votives and stuff. That's also very, very pretty. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoy it. I'd love to see what you make. You can send those to our Facebook. We'd love to feature you. It's Huntsville, Madison County Public Library. Thank you.